Alright, in this video we're going to take a look at taking a fraction, going to a decimal, decimal to a fraction, percent to fraction, fraction to percent, and decimal to percent, percent to decimal. So I'm giving you guys these notes. I think the easiest thing that we already know is that to take a fraction and go to a decimal, basically all you're doing is you're dividing the top by the bottom. So 2 divided by 12. It's no different if I had 45 over 100, for example. I would go 45 divided by 100, and I would get decimal 45. Okay, fraction to decimal is pretty straightforward. Same thing when we go from a decimal to a fraction. We've already done this. And so if you have decimal 45, you're basically counting up 2 spots, 2 zeros with the 1, 45 over 100. Or you remember going back and knowing your tenths, hundredths, thousandths, right? There's your decimal. First spot is the tenths, then it's the hundredths, then it's the thousandths. So if I have decimal 0, 1, 2, there's 3 spots, the 12 goes on top, and then 3 spots, look here, thousandths, so it's 12 thousandths. Or, again, I'm trying to simplify this for you guys, 1 spot, 2 spots, 3 spots, look, 3 zeros. Okay, taking a decimal and converting it to a fraction, sorry. I'm not even going to bother with the 9s, we've already did that with terminating, but in this unit we're not going to have to look at that. Okay, fractions to percent. What you can do is you can convert it to a decimal, and then you can either times it by 100 or just move it 2 spots. So that 2 12ths, I went 2 divided by 12, and I got this. You can take that, multiply it by 100, and you get that. Or what I do, it's a lot simpler, just move it 2 spots. 1, 2, it's 16 decimal 66%. Give me like a 3/4. If I divide that, I get 0.75. You can take that and multiply it by 100, or the simple way is move it 2 spots, and it's 75%. 75%. Okay, so here you divide it, same thing, give it to a decimal. Now that you have it as a decimal, either you times by 100 or you move 2 spots. If you're given a percent, easiest way to look at it is a percent is out of 100. So 45% is 45 hundredths. 13% is 13 out of 100. 6% is 6 out of 100. Okay. If you have this, I would love to say, yes, that is right. It's 45.66 out of 100. However, I don't want a decimal. So what happens is, for me to move this out, I have to move it 1, 2 spots for my number to become that big. Since I moved it 2, I added 2 zeros. Okay. I don't want to make this too long. Last thing is, how do we get from a decimal to percent? I just showed you actually. I should have did this 1 second. You basically times by 100, or you move it 2 spots. 2 spots becomes 48.3. 4 times by 100. The opposite way, how do you get a percent to a decimal? Well, you divide by 100, or you move it 2 spots backwards. So if I divide that by 100, I get that. Or if I just take this and move it 2 spots backwards, I get decimal 65. This is the key. When you have single digits, 5%, it is 0.05. 3% is 0.03. 8% is 0.08. 80% is decimal 8. And you can put a 0 if you want, but decimal 8. Okay? Hopefully that helps. You know what? I'm going to just go to the assignment. I think I can do that on here. Quickly go up to the top. Scroll over. And I'm going back to our assignments. One of the very first assignments in this unit is percent fractions decimals. And so what you've got is, I'll give you a few of the answers. I'm going to grab a calculator. All this can be done on a calculator. 70% as a fraction, you can write 70 out of 100. If you want to reduce, yeah, you can go 7/10. But 70 out of 100 I'll be fine with. As a decimal, now I just take this fraction and I go, what's 7 divided by 10? Or what's 70 divided by 100? And I get decimal 7. Or you could tell from here, move it 2 spots, it's decimal 70. Ooh, now they've given me a fraction. So my first instinct is to divide. 3 divided by 4, and I get decimal 75. You can either times that by 100 or move it 2 spots, and you get 75%. Now they've given me a decimal. So my brain says I can either times it by 100 or move it 2 spots, and that 0.4 becomes 40%, which is 40 out of 100, or I could say 4/10. And if you look at this decimal, back to where we read numbers, that is 4/10. Or, put a 0 on it, it is 40 hundredths, which shows that. So hopefully that can help you go from a percent to a fraction to a decimal, or if you have a fraction, I take it to a decimal, then a percent, a decimal to a percent, then to a fraction. Okay? Hopefully that helps you out in that first section.